What's up? It's your boy B Mage, the modern day hope dealer, not dope dealer. And listen, we back with another one, man, for the High Performance Leadership Podcast. We appreciate y'all so far for tuning in to season 2. Our first 2 episodes were really on fire, man. Leland set it off. Chiz came through, kept the fire flaming, and we got a real new special guest here who's been a brother, who's been a friend for years, man.
For sure.
This is locked into like even the foundation of major prep. We're gonna get into that a little bit too, but this is one of the ones who, like, as a high schooler at that time, really helped set the standard for the work that's happening right now,
Sure,
for the
absolutely.
expansion of the brand and the way the brand has manifested. We'll get into this manifestation too.
Absolutely.
Into what it is today, like a brand that provides luxury athleisure apparel to companies all over the world, individuals, the brand that provides the apparel for leaders, athletes, and go-getters.
For sure.
And with no further ado, man, I can't wait for this. I've been waiting for this one for a minute, man. I've been waiting for it because it's been able to, like, watch him grow, watch him evolve into who he is, and then also see the trials and tribulations by just being able to follow
Sure.
your vision and follow just the levels you've been
Yep.
evolving into, bro. And I want to bring guests on who I've seen their journey,
Yeah.
and they not even done though. It's like it ain't even like peak season yet.
Absolutely.
It's just those, you can see the trajectory of somebody on their way up,
Right.
and it's important that I think the demographic who follows the major prep, who's even in the world, bro, I think it's more people working up towards already up.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I really take pride in meeting with the right people and talking to the right people who are in that kind of path. So again, you guys, no further ado, we got Lance the Guru Deane here, man, and
Appreciate it.
I appreciate you making
Appreciate you having
time,
me, big
bro.
dog.
I
All right.
appreciate it, bro. So,
Appreciate you having me.
bro, I want to hop right into it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, straight, we don't really have no fluff on these joints, bro. So
For sure.
First off, just tell everybody kind of who you are real quick, though.
Lance Deane, father of 3. I think that's the most important. Athletic director at Susquehanna Township High School, and also a professional athletic trainer.
Wow. Boom. Straight to it. Bro, high school.
For sure.
You, Saif,
Yeah.
Poe,
Yeah.
BL,
Yeah.
McDevitt,
For sure.
a team, loaded,
For sure.
winners, college.
Yeah.
What was the transition like for you from high school to college?
It was humbling. And I think I was never the best player. I was surrounded by a lot of talent, and I worked hard. So like I was just a reliable guy that showed up that you can count on, and I'm transparent about it with the guys that I work with. Like I was never, I wasn't that guy. You know what I mean? I was somebody you can count on. I was gonna be consistent, and I was a late bloomer when I got to college, going to Kutztown, eventually being a 4-year starter, 3 at the starting position, and 1 year at nickel. I was a guy that constantly got better, and I think that kind of is the way my life's been as well since I've grown. I didn't peak out, I didn't max out. Where there's some guys that max out in high school.
Yeah, facts. Facts.
Mentally, physically,
Facts.
skill-wise.
Facts.
And then, you got guys that are late bloomers for different reasons, rather it's physically or they just mentally continue to challenge themselves. And thankfully enough, when I was hit with those challenges in high school, just the way I was raised with my parents, like I never folded, I never kind of ducked away from it. I embraced it. So, when I got to college, and I know what it felt like to compete because I was used to that. So then when after college, and I'm, it's time to get a job, it's time to work and expose different situations, I'm used to that competitive atmosphere. I'm used to being that underdog, and that's something I just kind of embraced. So I think when I look back on it, just never being that guy growing up, but being honest and not trying to be something I'm not, I think that's one of those things that kind of made me special in who I am.
Bro, so that resonates with me like a lot. Because for me, it was the level of that guy for me was heavy, but it wasn't like the 20-point scorer.
Sure.
It wasn't the 30-point scorer,
Sure.
but it was me being that guy in regards of I'm the leader of this unit here during my time of being a high school basketball star. And But again, though, through college,
Yeah.
starting the whole way through,
Yep.
every single game, accolades, the whole nine, and never, like you said, never peaking,
Right.
but always evolving. This is why one of the reasons why I like mentioned that at the beginning, because I've witnessed that from you, though.
Right. If I tell people all the time, like, and being a former high school head coach, I used to tell my players, like, if this is the peak of your life, the max of your life, then I'm not doing the right thing as a coach. So,
Right.
you know, I just wanted this to be a stomping stone and a memory, but we don't want this to be the peak of something.
Yeah.
You know, you 24, 25, you reposting on Instagram the same
All
6, 7 highlights from when you played in high school, because that's when you maxed out mentally and physically, and that's the most important time in your life. If we're setting kids up for that to be their peak, we failing them.
Facts.
For sure.
100%. Bro, you also mentioned your parents.
For sure.
Speak on that, on just the way you were brought up and some of the things your family and parents instilled in you.
I was raised right, and what I mean by right is, like, I grew up rich in everything but money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I when I think about it, the older I get, like, and my parents worked extremely hard, made a lot of sacrifices for me and my siblings, but, like, they never talked about money. Like, I didn't hear about money growing up. So I think I have them to think why I don't chase money. I don't put money on the front runner.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect it and it's important. Don't get it twisted. But I don't live my life chasing money because I didn't hear about it growing up. You know, they did with what they had and they made sure we had. But they didn't make that a priority for us. You know, we grew up on morals, respect, the way to treat people, and things of that sense. So just hearing that constantly, that was just contagious for the expectation of where I was supposed to live.
I love that.
For sure.
So having parents who helped you have that work ethic.
For sure.
Having parents who, like, made you responsible and respectful along the journey, and then even enduring the journey, bro. So what was the next level for you, or when you graduated college, what was the next thought, or, like, what was the goal or dream for after you graduated college to get you to?
I didn't have one at first. I didn't. I came home and I was stuck. I was a little bit confused on what I wanted to do next. And I went through a point, and then Coach Spells, who was my coach, Coach Eugene Spells.
Yep, Spells, the OG. That's my
man.
dude, man.
He said, hey, like, what about getting into teaching? Understand, if you do this, like, you had to be Mercy certified, you had to go back to school. And this was before COVID hit. So this was before the whole online classing and all those things. So I thought about it. I jumped on it. I went to Foos. I was teaching in the Bird.
Bro,
teaching at Foos.
He was bringing me into Foos.
Yeah,
we was talking to the kids at Foos, bro.
So I was there.
Yeah, I forgot about
man.
that, yo.
And I was a Mercy certified.
Dang, that's true.
I was a Mercy certified, so I had to take classes. So what I did, I was taking, 2-3 classes down in Chambersburg. And I had to drive, like I said, this was before COVID, so I had to drive down there. So, and it was, class started at a weird time. It was like 6, but I got out of work at 3. But if you don't leave right after work, you're going to hit traffic, now you're late. So I would get down there at like 4:30 and just sleep in my car for like an hour because I would always get down there so early. But I was making, and then classes is once a week, so 6 to 9. I mean, I ain't getting home until like 9:30, 10. So those were the sacrifices I made because working with kids, like, I knew right away, like, that was my calling. You know? So I think, you know, when I look back on it, you know, just that journey, that made me appreciate it, you know, and just being committed, going back, getting my teacher cert. And just being in an environment, working with kids, man, I love it, man. It makes me look at it like I'm not working. I'm doing something I enjoy, so.
Bro, so that transitions you to a part of what you do now.
For sure.
So how did you get into, like, what made you want to start training the way you do, though? What was that start like for you?
So this is around the time, like, you know, Kobe's of the world, Bryce Hall, Syfe was still considering it. My boy Los, Al Holman. You know, those are some of, like, the core guys that, you know, they were still on that projection of playing. And I had just graduated. I knew I was done. Like, I was done, and I was okay with that. And they gave me the opportunity to work with them, and I just like trying to help people maximize their potential. And I just knew at that point, it's like, man, like, God blessed me with this. You know, like, okay, this is where you at. Let's work on this craft and let's perfect it. And then obviously with that, you know, I continue to work. And then the reality of it is I got my breakthrough with Micah. But what people don't really realize that is I got my breakthrough with Micah, and that's my brother for life, and he helped change my life. I mean, he does that still to this day.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Micah, man. Micah Parsons.
For sure. But what people don't really realize, I got the opportunity to work with Micah because of the way that it was when I worked with his sister. I'm big on how you do one thing is how you do everything. And his sister, when she finished playing basketball, Shy was ready to go overseas and play basketball. And I treated her like she was in the WNBA. I approached it with the same seriousness And from there, I didn't know Micah. Micah had came home. This was during COVID. COVID had hit. I didn't grow up with Micah. We didn't know each other growing up.
Oh, yeah.
COVID had hit. Micah asked his sister, like, I need somewhere to train while I'm home.
Mm-hmm.
And because the way that I approached it with his sister, she was able to speak on my name and speak highly of me. And that's kind of a testament, like, how you do one thing is how you do everything. You never know who's watching. You never know what thing can lead to the next. Like, everything happens for a reason. So if you go back, if I'm late to training Shy, if I'm giving her half effort, I'm not really maxing out, and I'm not treating her like the elite level athlete, then she's not stamping my name to work with her brother. And a lot of other things and a lot of other opportunities that has come probably would never come. So, but it's kind of one of those things where, it's a blessing, but it's also is a lesson. Like, how you treat one thing is how you treat everything. So you never know what it pans out to be.
And I think people miss that importance
for sure
on their journey, though.
For sure, they see the glamour, they see the social media, they don't see the consistency, they don't see the sacrifices, they don't see the focus. A lot of times we just get caught up with the end results on what it looked like or what we even think it looks like because we don't see that person's journey. Like, a lot of times, even from our end, we want to post the end results and not, expose, the trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
So, people are left to assume, not too many good things happen when people assume.
Bro, you just mentioned trials and tribulations.
Sure.
What do you consider your biggest trial or tribulation that, like, outside of who you are now, but, like, that trial and tribulation that, like, made you man up, or that trial and tribulation that made you realize, like, yo, I got to stand on who I am now?
For sure. I would say just becoming a parent. Being a father of 3, like, I always say, like, there's no rule book to being a parent. Even though I had great parents, like, you got to go through some of these things yourself.
Yeah.
And, the sacrifices financially, physically, showing up, mentally, being there. And I'm still learning, I'm still growing.
Yeah.
But, trying to find that balance where, I'm still chasing my dreams. I'm trying to do things that, I want to do, but at the same time, finding that balance and make sure I'm there for them.
Yeah.
Because, one thing that I stand on and one thing, like, I'm a firm believer, I refuse to let other people raise my kids.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not willing to sacrifice certain things to lose out on, being there for their first day of school, for being there for their practices. There's other people that are. I'm just not that tough. Like,
Right.
I'm
That's
soft
another
on the
level.
side for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and not to say I never will or won't, like, sacrifices have to be made at times. But right now, like, it's important for me to be there for them.
Yeah.
The same way my parents was for me. Some people, dang, why don't you go do this or go do that? And I may not. We'll find out over time. But, it's just as important for me to be there for my family.
Bro, that's so key that you say that, man, because, again, I feel like it's situational.
For sure.
Some people make sacrifices where they got to be away from their family.
Sure. And I may have to do that one day.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. And some people are able to do that right away. It's not about being right or wrong.
Right,
it's
exactly.
About,
what you stand on, what you believe in, and how you want to, because that foundation is everything, bro.
For sure.
The foundation of a child is everything, man. So I salute you for making that sacrifice, because again, you could be anywhere in the world right now.
Sure, absolutely.
Like, anywhere off your resume at this point in the work that you've proven that you're capable of doing, bro.
Right.
So salute to you on that, bro.
No
We
doubt,
talk,
man.
do our texts every now and again, always shooting that love, but on wax in front of the world, bro. I want to let you know it's like, from bro to bro, I salute you for the work you've been doing, bro.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you being there. We back when, them days, I think we was transitioning to college. Me, you, Saif, Al, Will Be, Los, Reservoir. We was just, we was just getting work in it.
Bro, that's
sharps the mind.
Bro, that level of work we was doing then, and it was kind of like similar, bro.
Right.
Like, I'm finishing college over Globetrotter. I was finishing up my athletic journey, but was still around, you know what I mean? And wanted to make sure that the work ethic was instilled in y'all, because I saw that yo, these youngins is like that, man.
Right.
And y'all ain't shy from no work,
Right.
from Reservoir
Right.
to the gym we was at
Yeah,
out there
man. And
going crazy.
that does so much for you as a human. Like if
Bro.
you ain't ducking right like that, it's like you're gonna be when it's time to compete and you don't went to a small PSAC school and you competing for a job against somebody that done went to Harvard and laid out this resume, like you feel like you belong because you know the work that you put in. It's like they don't understand how that transpires and how that kind of moves off the field.
Excuse me, and we was doing work where it was like, I mean, it was some grunt work, bro, trying to break you every single day, bro. And I did that because I was one of the ones who couldn't break, bro.
Right, for sure.
Like it was nothing nobody could. My big homies, they couldn't break me.
For sure.
Like my Sean Lewis, my Will Chases, my Al Cloud, like my big homies, they did everything in their power to break me, and I stood tall.
For sure.
Every chance, but they did that because they saw something deeper in me.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So the way I was.
But like you said, you mentioned like your old heads. I also feel, with no disrespect, I feel like there's also becoming that lost art for genuine old heads.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more like fanned out friends that's happening. You know, when we had old heads, the Coach DJs of the world, you know, those
DJs,
types, you know what I mean? Coach Brody, RP to Coach Brody.
For sure.
Coach Smoke, like I can go and listen, you know, those
Smoke,
guys. You know, like those were my old heads, but they were like they weren't my friends. And we made that clear. And they made that clear. Like they could joke with me like they wasn't my parents and stuff, but at the end of the day, I still looked at them like adults. You know what I mean? That respect was there. Where now is more or less like these old heads are more like friends and trying to just, you know, get the perks of being around a popular kid or something.
Right,
like
it's
that.
wild.
I'm not a fan of that. Not to say everybody's like that, because it's not, but I think, or maybe because I'm getting older, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But
you just see it from a different lens because of
for sure.
the levels you've been able to grow through and where you are and where you are today. Sure. But you gotta have that vision though.
For sure, absolutely.
You have to, bro.
You got to.
A part of that though, bro, is manifestation, yo.
Sure.
Like you manifested being an athletic director, bro.
Sure.
Tell that story about where you were when you first went to apply to be AD to getting rejected.
Right. So I had did in college at Kutztown, we had to do an internship.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent my whole last semester at Bucknell. Had got some good experience there. Then I had came back and I had applied for athletic director job fresh out of college.
Yeah.
So realistically, probably a job that I didn't even have the experience to even put my name in it. But you know, I'm confident naturally. So I'm going to see. I'm going to put your name out there.
See what's what
happened, right? So it was a small high school. They had an athletic director job opening up. I applied. Felt like I interviewed well. Felt like I had learned enough at Bucknell to get there and figure things out. And I had received an email probably like 2 weeks later saying, "Hey, you didn't get the job." And like the competitor in me, like I was hurt. Like I was like, I didn't know. Once a competitor, always a competitor.
Always,
you don't like rejection, you don't like losing. So it was like that kind of filmed something in me. Like I ain't never gonna feel that again. So you know, Lord willing, I had the opportunity to apply last year around, and like November or so to be the athletic director at Susquehanna Township. And I got the job. So it's kind of like one of those things where you just stay consistent.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I just stay consistent with working hard. And then that opportunity came back around.
But bro, I feel like you didn't you make a post or write something about how you got rejected?
Yeah.
And then like it came back around and you reposted it like maybe not long ago. But yeah, bro.
I still had that email.
Yeah, bro.
Still had that email. Screenshot it. I told myself I would never feel this way again. And, you know, I just worked, man. I didn't need to be loud about it. Didn't talk to nobody about it. But it bothered me. Like, it really, like, you would have thought I was an 80 or 30 years that walked in there. Like, I didn't get this. Like, I was really bothered by it. But I kept that screenshot, man. And I just head down and work. Block out the noise and head down and work.
Bro, what would be your message to student athletes who got a really high or medium upside of playing on Sundays, right? Sure. But got to go through the journey still.
Yeah.
And the journey doesn't work out in that favor of playing on Sundays, and they got to get to the real world.
Right.
What would your advice be to them right now on their way to working towards and preparing for playing Sundays just along the journey. But again, if it doesn't go as planned for that,
Right.
what would your advice be?
Just keep the foundation. Like we as athletes, we struggle with that transition sometimes. Regardless of level, regardless of sport, we struggle with that transition from being an athlete to the day-to-day world. But I think one of the things that protect us as athletes is our routine, that structure.
Yeah.
So even though it's not necessarily being enforced by a coach or anything anymore, I would encourage, and that's one thing that I'm trying to challenge myself on is finding that routine. You're only as good as your routine.
Yeah.
So try to maintain that structure and that routine where you gotta respond. Like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm going to work out. Every other Saturday, I'm going to go out to lunch with my mom. Like, same thing with a football schedule. You can't miss a football game. You can't miss basketball practice. So if it was one thing that I would say, is staying on that structure and that routine. And transparently enough, like that's something I still struggle with.
Yeah.
It's just finding that routine, especially because you're being pulled in many different ways. With football, it just be football. With basketball, it just be basketball. But now we're asking you to be a father.
Yeah.
We're asking you to, sometimes, juggle 2 or 3 jobs, different things. So, I would say just standing on that structure and that foundation that got you there.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to. What got you there is what's going to keep you there. What I mean? Regardless of what the circumstance is. So if you got there off of working hard and being consistent, take that into every avenue of your life.
Wow, bro. So as we get to the back end of our time, bro, I don't want to hold you too long, but
for sure.
I want to get to like just the point of like your leadership now.
Yeah.
Right. So on High Performance Leadership Podcast, like I want to get your just perspective on what leadership means to you and why it's important to be a leader.
Yeah. So it's funny, like 2 of my closest friends, Key, I remember he was a captain at Kutztown.
Key, shout out to Key, bro. I can't wait to get Key up here, bro. Like that's a special man, bro. That's a special dog in my life, man, for sure.
And we were talking about him being a captain at Kutztown, and he said the hardest thing about being a captain is I got to show up every day. Like there is no days off. So as a leader, I took that when I heard that from him, and it was like being consistent. Like when you're a leader, like, it's okay to embrace your feelings. But you got to be consistent every day. And then my other guy, Eris, he had
Scott,
he had just made a social media post that kind of stuck with me and hit hard. It's like basically, long story short, it's like when you're being a leader, you got to have that tough skin because it comes with a lot. It comes with the rumors. It comes with people creating their own, storylines of who you are because you're in that position of power. Like, oh, he think he's this, or he think he's better than people, and that's not what it really is. But you got to make those tough decisions. You gotta make things. You got to make decisions that people aren't going to understand. And you're not going to be able to explain it to everybody because it's not everybody's business.
Facts.
But being a leader, to me, like you gotta embrace it. Like it comes with a lot. But you definitely got to be able to embrace that for sure.
I love that, bro. So who was you consider one of the greatest leaders in your life?
One of the greatest leaders in my life, Dr. Ross. I think he's like assistant superintendent.
Dr. Ross,
assistant superintendent at Al Hershey now, I think. But I met him later when he was the principal at East.
Got you. Okay.
I would say definitely Dr. Ross is, the family man he is.
Yeah.
The way he goes about business, the way I've seen him, interact with teachers. When you run in the school building,
it's different.
You're doing a million different things. You got to answer to so many people that want so many different things. But finding that balance where you're able to maintain your foundation, which you're not going to be. I'm not bending on this. These are what I consider non-negotiables. Like this is what it's going to be. But on the other end of it, like, hey, okay, I hear you out, and let's see what we can do to make this happen. So I would say Dr. Ross, and then his ability to, be a mentor to so many other people and be confident. Like when he hired me as a high school head coach, I was 24. We're talking about 6 years. I was the youngest head coach and all this. Like to hire a 24-year-old as a leader, that takes confidence. You got to be able to like, okay, this is what I'm doing, and this is what it's going to be. So I would say, Dr. Ross is definitely one of those guys.
Man, bro. So like when I go into like the closing segment,
For sure.
it's different.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it not being strategic. I'm not being the same
For
to
sure.
everybody, right? But earlier you talked about being a father, bro.
For sure.
And for me, fatherhood is so important, bro,
Yeah.
because like my father was a big deal.
For sure.
My mom, the biggest to me.
Yeah.
But my father, man, like he had 4 sons
Yeah.
out of all of us. So with you having 3 kids now,
Yeah.
bro, I want you to give them a message, bro,
Yeah.
that they are too young
Yeah,
to
yeah.
comprehend now,
Yeah.
but in 3, 5 years, 6 years, it's something that you can replay to them,
For
though,
sure.
bro. And I want to give you the freedom now, just to give them a message about life.
Yeah, for sure.
Before we close, bro.
Yeah, man. To my kids, to other kids, if there was one piece of advice, I would say just stay in your lane. Um, if you ever like one of the most powerful pictures of me is a picture of Michael Phelps in the Olympics, and he's swimming, he's looking straight ahead, and he got a guy next to him looking at him, paying attention to him.
That picture crazy.
Yeah, man, and that picture's so powerful to me, because he's focusing on himself. You know, never once in any of this part of my journey have I made this about anybody else other than myself. A lot of times, as we climb that ladder, with success comes comparisons.
Yeah.
Comes envy. Oh, how did this guy do this? How he getting that? I'm better than him. This, that, and the third. And now you're getting away from what made you who you are. Keep the main thing the main thing. So I would say stay in that lane where you're worried about yourself and perfecting yourself. Because like with me personally, every goal that I ever laid out has been about me maxing out on me.
Yeah.
It hasn't been. I've never put another
like
person on a wall and said I want to be better than them.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't, because then what happens when, like, what I've learned is then they're gonna compare you to somebody else.
Yeah.
Then I'm not living my life chasing somebody.
Chasing the comparison.
You know what
yeah.
I mean? I don't want that. And if anything, it becomes a compliment that But other than that, not that you can't learn from other people. I don't live my life trying to answer to being better than this person next. Because look at it with LeBron, look at it with Kobe, look at it with Jordan. You know what I mean? Sometimes we don't appreciate the greatness of what we have
in the moment of it. Yeah.
Because we're so like, okay, you know what I mean? So I would say stay in that lane where you're focused on perfecting yourself and your craft and whatever avenue that is, more than sports.
Wow. I love that.
For sure.
Bro, so how can people follow you? How can they get connected with you?
Yep.
I know you train from kids to pros.
Yeah.
How can people tap in with you?
Yeah. Instagram, Lance717, Facebook, Twitter as well. Website will be up and coming probably within the next month. That'll be posted on all my social media forums. Like B-May said, pros all the way down to probably 6, 7-year-olds.
Yeah.
We do it all, man. All sports. So.
Bro, and lastly though, wait, real quick.
Yeah.
The guru.
Yeah, for sure.
How did that come about? I need to know the true story on how to name the guru.
So it's crazy. So I think I was training one day with Kobe White and my guy Grant Smith. Kobe played at Boston College. Grant played at IUP. And when I train, I get in that bag.
Yeah.
Like, like, you know what I mean? I get in that bag. That competitor, like, they get a good rep. Like, come on, man. That's why they pay me the big bucks. You know what I mean? One day I said, I'm the guru. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the guru. And then the next day, they start calling me that. So we was running with it for a while. Then, of course, you get Micah called me it publicly. And then that kind of took it to another level. So, but it all started back with training with me, Kobe, and Grant. We was in that bag. Called myself that one time. They started calling me that. A couple other clients started calling me that. We stuck with it.
Stuck with it.
And we've been rocking ever since.
I love that, bro. That's just the genuineness of being a competitor and talking that talk.
Yeah,
like that's what we have. I tell people, man, of course the slogan is stay focused, remain humble, and keep working.
For sure.
And that's just staying focused on your goals.
For sure.
Remaining humble as you achieve them. But that I always tell people, don't get humble confused with my confidence.
Yeah, there's a big difference between confidence and cocky.
Listen, that confidence level we have to have.
Jadakiss said, what Jadakiss say? I ain't cocky, I'm confident.
I ain't cocky,
when
I'm
you tell
confident.
Me I'm the best is a compliment. You know what I'm saying? Like,
true facts.
It's a big difference between the two, for sure. So, you can feel like you're elite, but then not feeling like, I'm better than the next
Yeah,
one. Because
yeah.
it ain't never about them, like I said.
Yeah.
So, I think definitely for sure.
Bro, I love that, bro. I appreciate you,
Yeah, no
bro.
doubt.
Again, bro, I
Appreciate you having me,
appreciate
dog.
you for all the work you do,
Yeah.
bro, for the man you are, the man you keep evolving into, the
Sure.
way you're being an impact for this generation. So just like DJ, Brody, Smoke,
Yeah.
all like you gonna be that for this generation, bro. Like you are that, bro.
That'd be a blessing, man. That mean more to me than the other things.
That's what it's
You know
about,
what I'm saying?
bro. That's what it's about.
Sure.
You guys, listen, Lance Deane, the guru. Make sure y'all follow him. This was the third session of the High Performance Leadership Podcast, Season 2. We appreciate y'all. Continue to like, share, comment, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend so we run this joint all the way up. And we appreciate y'all, man. You know it's your boy, B Mage, the modern day hope dealer, not dope dealer. When you need that hope, just call me. We got you, all right? You already know the vibe. Stay focused, remain humble, and keep working, keep working, keep working.